Hi everybody, this is Natalie with Champion of Coins Tarot. It is so wonderful to be able to connect with you today. I hope that you are doing very well. So I wanted to hop on to begin documenting all of the tarot and oracle decks that I currently have in my collection. The last time that I did this kind of walkthrough was in 2016, and that was back when I only had 10 tarot decks to share. So my collection has definitely blossomed a lot. This is by no means going to be like an in-depth review. I am going to share a little bit about the publisher, the creator, the artist behind each deck, when it came out, and if there are any particular titles that you're really drawn to that you would like me to elaborate more on in the future, definitely let me know in the comments, because I would love to get back into the habit of doing in-depth reviews and sharing more about how I might work with a particular deck or with a particular system. This is really just meant to be a snapshot of the way that things currently stand. So I have 72 decks at the moment, 54 tarot, 18 oracle. I'm gonna split this up into batches, starting with my indie tarot deck collection, and we'll kind of go from there. So I encourage you to settle in, to get comfortable, get a glass of water or a cup of tea, because we have a lot of titles to go through. So I'm gonna go alphabetically, starting with the 78 Tarot Astral, the Tarot in Space. So 78 Tarot is a global art collaboration. They put out one indie deck every single year that's based off of a particular theme. This is obviously their space one, and it's nice, thick matte cardstock with the silver on the back. And it has the artist, their name, printed on the bottom. So I really like this deck because it's definitely a unique theme. There are some that are very dark, there are some that are very cinematic, and there are also some cards in here that are very playful as well. I think it does overall read very cohesively, and it just has a very unique place in my collection. I don't really use it all that much, but it is a treasure and a delight every time that I do work with it. So this one actually came out in 2017. As of 2022, I believe it is still available for purchase on their website, though in limited quantities. So the next one is actually a combination tarot and oracle deck. This is another collaborative art project by Light Gray Art Lab, the Cosmos Tarot and Oracle. So this is first the tarot that it comes with. So all of the cards in this tarot are inspired by different constellations. The majors showcase the zodiac and the planets, and then the minors are all based off of the mythology behind each constellation. Now this is one that definitely deviates from the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, Thoth systems that we're all more used to. All of the suits are elemental, but this is really, I think, more akin to an oracle. I've tried for several years to kind of crack the code, and this deck just has its own internal language where every card really speaks for itself. So it's a much more intuitive working process. And then the oracle is fairly small in comparison. But again, it has that same style of artwork, so you can read together, combine them into one deck, or you can use this separately. And this one also, again, it has planets and keywords, but it also has a few unique ones too, like you have supernova, nebula, other kind of celestial phenomenon. Right, so that is Cosmos Tarot and Oracle. Next one is by far my favorite tarot deck of all time. This is the Daniloff Tarot by Alexander Daniloff. This is the 3rd edition, published in 2012. I love this so much. So I got, and of course the world is on the bottom, look at that. This deck just means so much to me. This is a deck that I use it personally. I use it for spellcraft. This is just, it's so powerful. Actually got my copy secondhand from Larissa. She used to go as Bard's Lament on YouTube. I believe she's Green Witch's Homestead on Instagram now. And it's just absolutely stunning. It's Rider-Waite Smith inspired, but it has just such a beautiful style. Like, this reminds me of Renaissance. It just has like such a powerful and arresting whimsy to it. So Daniloff Tarot, 3rd edition. Next up is Dust to Onyx. This is the 2nd edition. This is the mini travel size version of the deck. This is by Dust to Onyx Art Studio, and the artist is Courtney Alexander. So this is just really, really stunning. Courtney Alexander is a Black creator, and all of the images feature Black people. They feature just really beautiful symbolism from Black culture, from African traditional religion. This is just so arresting, and also just such like a nurturing deck. It's one that is relatively new to my collection. I haven't spent very much time with it, but it's just beautiful, encouraging. The messages are so clear. And I have like the digital download full guidebook as well. I also really, really enjoy this size. It works well for traveling, which is, you know, what the title implies. It has like a really rich matte cardstock and also this matte gilding, which is beautiful and holds up really well. I wish that more artists would invest in doing matte gilding because it holds up so well. So that's Dust to Onyx, traveler size. Next up is the Hearty Tarot by Colleen Hearty. This is the full bleed edition. I have number 27 out of the 50 that were made during this printing. So Hearty Tarot, oh, and I edged that one in black Sharpie. Hearty Tarot is a Thoth-inspired deck. It's just so beautiful. This is one that I've had for a very long time, since the summer of 2016. And it just continues to speak to me. It's so beautiful. The artist, like all of the folks in this deck are based off of people who she knew in real life. It features traditional flora and fauna from the west coast of the United States. God, I love the Six of Wands so much. It's colorful, it's vibrant. There's something that is very, just very real and very earthy and very grounded about this energy. And this is my favorite Lovers card of all time. Just so incredible. The next deck is the Lilien deck. This is, I believe it came out in 2021, and this is published by Jew Witches, who is a Jewish tarot deck creator, Jewish author who talks a lot about the intersection between traditional Jewish mysticism and kind of broader spiritual New Age culture. She's just really fantastic, and I highly recommend that you follow her. So this deck is actually based off of the artwork of a Jewish artist named Lilien, who was a turn of the century kind of Art Nouveau artist. It's all black and white, very arresting ink and engravings. This is like the only deck that I really know of its kind that approaches tarot using Jewish art in this way. It's one that is newer to my collection, so I haven't had as much time to really work with it and really process it. And it's very just challenging in the best possible way of working intuitively and trying to match like the association between the story and the traditional tarot archetype. And this is on the back. It's actually the priestly blessing. So the Spock hands that Leonard Nimoy used in Star Trek actually come from Jewish tradition. This is the priestly blessing that the descendants of the Kohanim or of the high priests will give out to members of the congregation on Shabbat and high holy days. So really, really lovely. So the next one is a deck that I think most of us are familiar with. So this is the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot. This deck, it just has such a grip, I think, on the collective psyche. So this is by Usoi Collective. The version that I have is, I want to say, their 2019 printing. And I got this in a pack with the Material Prima and the Supra Oracle that they also did around that time. This is just gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. Sorry, I'm a bit off center. Love the cardstock. It plays with the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith system while also having these very scenic pip cards. This is one that's just such a powerful intuitive reader. I love the guidebook. There's just so much time and intention and love that was put into this. This is definitely one that I reach for quite often in my personal practice. So next we have another favorite. This is the Prisma Visions Oracle by James R. Eads. This is the 6th edition of the deck, and I got it off of the Kickstarter campaign that he did for the Cosma Visions Oracle deck. So this version has the silver gilding, and it also came with all of the bonus cards. So this one, I keep all of the bonus cards in. I really, really enjoy reading with all of them. So Prisma Visions is very special because all of the minor arcana make one continuous image. You can lay it out and you can see the entire painting and really the story and progression of the characters through each elemental suit. It's bold, it's colorful. Gosh, this is one that, like, when I pick it up, I can't touch any other deck while I'm using it. It's such a good reader for just about any kind of situation that you can imagine. So really, really, really lovely. This also does have like a really, really nice matte cardstock feel to it. Some more of my favorite decks. Like, I didn't realize that so many of my favorites actually were indie, but this is really great. So I have the Serpentfire Tarot. This is the 7th edition. This is by Devony Wolfe, who is the founder of Serpentfire Company. They have a lot of decks. I have most of them. So this is the back of the 7th edition. I love this so much. This just speaks to me on such a soul level. I find just the images to be so powerful. This is a deck that I meditate with, that I've done path working with. This is a deck that I reach for to set the mood and set the intention of ritual. It helps me just to access like a different dimension of consciousness. It's so fantastic. And I use this one, also gilded. I use this one in collaboration with the Wolfe Tarot. and I'll show you that box in a second. I find that Serpentfire is a bit more Rider-Waite-Smithy. She-Wolf is more Thoth inspired. They just complement each other very, very well. This one, though, is definitely more, it leans a lot more into desert imagery. There's something very earthy and very almost shamanic in a way about this one. And just these two together are so fantastic. Like, this is another one like the Daniloff that like I really, really use for magic and for manifestation, and it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. So that's Serpentfire and She-Wolf Tarot together. This is the big She-Wolf box that it comes in. Just so, so fantastic. Next up is the Star Power Tarot. And this is by Charlie Quintero of sixsadgirls.com, which I love the name of. This deck is just so vibrant and alive. It's punk rock, it's queer, it's unapologetic. The images are just so psychedelic and entrancing. There's a really playful energy to this, but also a lot of shadow and a lot of nuance as well. Like, I think this deck, more than any other in my collection, really speaks to the experience of what it is to be a 20-something at this moment in time. There's just something that's just very almost like nostalgic to me as well, because it feels so contemporary, but also it really speaks to kind of the internet culture, some of like these Y2K aesthetics, some of these like early Tumblr aesthetics, that it just speaks to, I think, the feminine experience. I think it speaks to like just the, I don't know, it just, I'm running out of words. But it's something that just feels so of the now, and like it just captures the zeitgeist so beautifully, and it's very, very fun. So we're almost to the end. Oh my goodness. So next up is the Victorian Romantic. This is the Russian edition, which I believe is based off of the second edition printing. And this is the one that has the lovely linen cardstock where like you can bend it, you can riffle it, you can shuffle it in a million ways, and it maintains its shape. The artwork is so beautiful. Baba Studios just does an incredible job with their artwork. I definitely have had to mark up the guidebook because I don't speak Russian, I don't read Russian, and because this is Rider-Waite-Smith inspired, there's a lot that you can go off of in the images. Like the Six of Cups right here is fairly recognizable because you have the exchange between the two figures and you have the flowers, but there are other ones that require a bit more time and a bit more reflection with. But this is, it's just so beautiful. It definitely captures just that sweeping poeticism, just an optimism, very storybook kind of charm. So I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy kind of stepping into the lives of these characters. It's very emotive in that way. Then the very last indie tarot deck that I have to show you all is the Wizard's Tarot. This is by the Wizard of Barge. It's just so fantastic. Here are the backs. This definitely has like a great cartoony energy. There's something about this that's very reminiscent of Futurama, of The Simpsons. It is so witty and irreverent and fun. It feels like a madcap caper. lots of impaling. There's a lot of gore, but like there's something very charming and very cute about it. This is one that I've read for with friends. I've actually used this in a lot of different ways, actually. There's something about it that just opens me up to different levels and possibilities that I wouldn't otherwise consider, because it's just so off the wall and willing to take you there. Like you just become fully immersed in this world. And it's a great way to kind of confront some of the darker themes as well. I think in this deck, there are some suits that have been changed. So cults are actually cups. Curses. It's fantastic. I could look at it and live in that bizarre world all day if I needed to. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching and for sticking with me. I'm going to be back in a little bit with part 2, which is going to focus more on mass markets. But let me know what you thought, if you have any of these decks and you enjoy working with them, if there's one that you're curious about and you want to hear more of. Like I said, I'm happy to go back and to kind of go through in more detail. Yeah, so thank you so much again. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. Take care. Bye.